Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope everybody is having a good week. It's good to see you all. Hey, Tech Death. Hello, Lynn. Hey, Danger Dave. How are you? Hey, Melissa. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Sees Through. Hey, Digital. Good to see you. Hi, Vanessa Marie. Hey, Teresa Fountain. Good to have you with us. Hey, Country Girl. Hey, Louisa Gagnon. Thank you for being here. How is everybody doing? Hey, Miranda. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, Melissa, I do too. That's from Tech Death Hippie, who's one of my moderators. His music is amazing. Hey, Indian Paintbrush. How are you? Thank you so much. You're so kind. I'm tired. I have to admit, I am tired. When am I not? I think that's the question that I should be asking myself. I so appreciate you guys coming in and stopping in to spend some time with me. I look forward to it every live. I did have someone ask me if doing 3 lives a week was a bit much, and sometimes I think it is, but I do enjoy it and look forward to it. So there is that. So Jennifer just posted in the chat, I have a new perk kind of thing. For those who want to help support me, you can buy me a coffee. I don't drink coffee, so it's actually buy me a tea. But she dropped the link if you guys want to do that. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's out there. Thank you, Teresa. I don't usually go this glam, but someone told me I should. I mean, I don't normally for lives, but I used to sell Unique, if you're familiar with that product. And so I used to do makeup tutorials and stuff. So I thought, well, better try it out and see how, sorry, but my nose is bugging me, and see how it looks. Hey, CJK. It's good to see you. Hey, Judy. Hi, Paris. So tonight we're going to talk about, I'm going to update the Kristin Smart Case. I am going to talk about Delphi. Something interesting that I found that I wanted to share with everybody. And we're going to talk a little bit further. about the fires. Because I want to talk a little bit more about Stephanie Thompson and what's going on with that case. I'm going to also touch a little bit on some history of Indiana that I think is important that we all are aware of. Hey, little Pookie. It's good to see you. Thanks, Digital. I could not agree with you more. He's looking forward to a chat where the focus is the crimes, not the other creators. This stuff is way too much. I just really try to stay in my lane. It's difficult on YouTube. Thanks, Jennifer. So anyway, there's been a lot going on in YouTube that, I mean, Digital brings up a really good point. We've talked about it here before. I don't really want to harp on it too much because I definitely think that it takes away from our message and what we're trying to accomplish, at least what I'm trying to accomplish on my channel. I never wanted to be involved in this really crazy community with the infighting between creators. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will understand it. But I will say that, hey, Carrie, welcome. Some of it seems to have died down a little bit with some of the creators. I've been watching some stuff and I've seen them talking about trying to be more kind. A lot of the things that we try here. So maybe it's rubbing off some. Hey, John. Welcome. How are you? Better late than never. Hey, Frank Meister. So good to have you. But yeah, it's the truth. I mean, I just get so tired of it, and it goes in waves. It's like cyclical, you know. We'll go for a while and everything will be kind of quiet and then it gets crazy. So I don't know if it's just certain creators, because I have found a lot of really good channels lately and they don't have any of this drama. So I'm not sure. But it's really nuts. So let's, it looks like, yeah, a full moon. Is that what it is? So I did want to update Kristin's case. For those who do not know the Kristin Smart case, would you please put a number 1 in the chat if you're not familiar with Kristin's case? I'm going to share my screen. If you have a platform, use it wisely. Make the best use of it. Unless untrue is being spoken against you personally, ignore it and take the high road. I so agree. And I even have found that a lot of the research that I've done on trolling and all of that, even when they're coming at us, that we should just ignore it. It's the one thing that they hate the most is when no one recognizes them. No one talks to them. No one, you know, does anything. So I think perhaps that's the best way that we should be treating it, in my opinion. So let me just open something real quick. Thought I had it open earlier and I accidentally closed it. Which is par for the course, because today, like I said, I've just been super tired. I think this will work. I'm just going to put up her photo and then we can talk about her case. I did do a video, a live stream on Kristen a couple months ago. You can find that on my channel if you would like to check that out. Okay, so let's see here. There we go. That's the way I want it to look. It has, Frank. You know, it's really gotten out of hand. Hey, David. So good to see you here. Hey, Decolonial Rhetoric. So happy to have you here. Welcome. You'll find that everybody here is kind and accepting. So we strive for that here. Hey, Raggedy Susan. Good to have you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so this is Kristin Smart. And Kristen Smart went missing in May of 1996. She was a freshman at Cal Poly University in San Luis Obispo, California. And, you know, she was just this bright, beautiful young woman who was trying to find herself, basically. She had been, she was a traveler. She had been a camp counselor in Hawaii. She had done a lot of things. And so she was not this naive little girl, I don't think. She was more out there. You know, she had experienced some of the world. But anyway, she went missing and she had gone to a party on campus and was basically never, after the party, when she left, she was never heard from or seen again. And the person of interest, or the main person that they have suspected for nearly 26 years, is by a person by the name of Paul Flores. Paul Flores was also a student at Cal Poly, and he had a fixation about Kristen. And there were a lot of witnesses to this. And it was even before this weekend when she disappeared. He would stare at her at parties. He showed up one time in her dorm room uninvited, made her very uncomfortable. There was just a lot of weird things about him in relationship to Kristen. So the very early on, within just days of her disappearance, he was the main person they were looking at. There was just a lot of things that he told police and investigators that just did not add up. So let's move forward to the fall of 2019. Or I'm sorry, the fall of 2019. Wow. Anyway, a podcaster by the name of Christopher Lambert, started a podcast called Your Own Backyard about Kristin's case. He was 8 years old when Kristin went missing, I think. 6 or 8, I can't remember for sure. And so he was just a little boy, but he remembered her because there is still a billboard on the 101 in California to this very day that depicts Kristin and her being missing and her reward and everything. So that has been something that people in that area and anyone who travels down the 101 would see. As Chris got older and he became a recording engineer in the music industry, and he was doing his own music. He was, helping do other people's music as well. And Kristin's case was haunting him. And he decided that, why don't I take some time and do a podcast about her? And as he began this, he didn't know what was going to come of this and how this was going to change this case, but it did. And what happened was he was not only a podcaster, he became an investigative reporter because he started interviewing anyone and everyone that knew anything about Kristin's case. He went back through everything he could find. The first thing he did is he made and got a relationship with her parents, with Stan and Denise Smart, and he built a rapport with them, and they began to trust him, and they started talking to him about everything, and he continued to delve into this case. And as he was building his podcast, before he dropped it, he decided that he needed to let law enforcement know what he was planning on doing and what he was finding out, because he was finding certain things out. So he contacted law enforcement and he said, look, this is what I'm doing, and I don't want to do anything that may hurt her case. So can you please tell me if this is okay with you and how should I proceed? And they basically told him that they were fine with it. They thought it was fine. And that if he would release his podcast episodes to them before, so that they could tell him if there was anything in it that should not be talked about. And Chris agreed to that. He named the podcast Your Own Backyard. It is amazing. If you guys like true crime podcast, this is one of the best ever. It reached #1 in the podcast arena all over the world, everywhere. And it was there for a very, very long time. He had no idea how this was going to affect his life. He basically stopped doing his job of what he was doing. His girlfriend, who he lived with, said, you know what? You need to just do this case. And I'm behind you 100%. And so he did. And he started digging up things that law enforcement didn't know. He found witnesses that law enforcement were not aware of. And because of that, there were new evidence that basically came to light, that basically, in my opinion, split this case wide open and caused law enforcement to do some other investigatory strategy towards the Flores family. Not only Paul, but his father, Reuben, who is also suspected of being a accomplice in disposing of Kristen's body, because they do believe that Kristen was murdered that weekend that she disappeared, in fact, that very night, and that it was in the commission of a rape or a sexual assault is how she lost her life. So fast forward to 2022, and here we are. They finally arrested Paul and his father last year for the murder of Kristen, and she is now getting justice because her trial just started 2 weeks ago. And what is mind-blowing about this case to some is that they are charging them without Kristen's body because they have not recovered her. Yes, In Your Own Backyard is just about this case. And so, I mean, you have to realize it spans almost 26 years. So there's a lot to cover. There's a lot that's gone on in this case. And this case reminds me a lot in so many ways about Abby and Libby, because these investigators really never gave up. Although I do believe that when the sheriff changed in I think it was 2012 or 2013, things really started to heat up with the case again. It drug for a while. And the new sheriff made an absolute pact with the family that he would leave no stone unturned and that he would find justice for her. And that he was absolutely dead set on proving that Paul Flores and Reuben were culpable in her death. So all these years later, the family has suffered because they didn't know what happened to her. I can't, like you said, I can't even imagine. But the last 2 weeks, her trial has been going on, and they had to move it because of jurisdiction, because of all the coverage that this case has gotten. They didn't feel that they would get fair trials if they didn't grant change of venue. So they did. And her case is being tried in Monterey, which is not that, I mean, it's south. It's not close, but a lot of people have said that it would have been better to even take it to LA. But I think it's fine with what they've tried to do and where they have it at this point. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what happened in opening statements when the prosecution, yes, CJK, I have a live stream on my YouTube channel on Lauren Spire. I did cover her case. And it's been about a month ago. So if you look at my videos on my channel, you'll find Lauren's. So this is what the opening was for the prosecution in Kristen's case. 1,359 Sundays have passed since the Smart family have spoken to their daughter. And what's amazing is that Kristen spoke every Sunday with her family, like clockwork. It was something that they decided upon when she went away to school. So on Sunday, the family would all gather together. She has a brother, and they would all gather together and they would talk and catch up with what was happening at school and in her life. But on that Sunday, May 26, 1996, Kristin never called. Instead, Paul Flores was calling his father for help. As the prosecutor was speaking to the jury with this opening statement and was talking about this, none of the Flores family showed any signs of emotion at all. Nothing. While the entire community began banding together to search for Kristin, they wanted to search the campus, the city, everywhere they could possibly think of for her. Paul and Ruben Flores did not help in that search. Instead, you will hear evidence that Ruben would tear down the missing posters of Kristin and call her a dirty slut. All the while, Kristin's body was decomposing under his deck on the back of his house. Stan Smart, Kristin's father, would spend hundreds of hours searching for his daughter, eventually making his way to Ruben's home in Arroyo Grande, which is just 12 miles south of the campus. Ruben told him, "You better get out of here or somebody might get shot." Hey, Curly J, it's good to see you too. Hey, Lisa, so good to see you. He talked of the witnesses that the jury will hear from over the next couple of months. And he told them that a close friend who saw Paul in Kristin's dorm room in the spring of 96, Kristin was uncomfortable and he was uninvited. Another friend will testify that he saw Paul stare at Kristin at parties, which made their whole friends group very uncomfortable. Kristin's friends split off from Kristin's friend Margarita is the one who split off from Kristin as Kristin left for a party on Crandall Way that night that she disappeared. And she will testify that Kristin was sober. Another witness saw Paul at that very party force himself onto Kristin and trying to kiss her multiple times. Another witness will testify, recalling Paul coming up to him and commenting at that party that Kristin was good looking. Several people will testify that they saw Kristin and Paul talking several times that night, and that was something that he denied to the police when they interviewed him that next week. Others will testify how Kristin was incapacitated, lying in the dirt between the two houses, and had to be helped up because she could not stand on her own. Tim, who was also at the party, and Cheryl, a friend of Kristin's, tried to help by walking Kristin back to the dorms. When Paul Flores appeared suddenly out of the darkness and offers to help. So Tim turns around and goes back to the party. Tim will testify that Paul took control of Kristin almost immediately, saying, "I've got her," and basically for him to go away. And Tim went back to the party, and Paul and Cheryl would continue on towards the dorms. Paul stopped multiple times on this walk, telling Cheryl that he had it and that she could go ahead and go on ahead. He kept saying, "I've got this. I've got this." When they finally did split, Paul asked Cheryl if he could have a kiss, which she refused. He then asked her if he could have a hug, and she also refused. The last time Cheryl saw the two of them, they were walking east towards Paul's dorm. Two friends of Kristen's roommate slept in Kristen's room that night, and Kristen never returned home. A vehicle can, the prosecutor also tells the jury that a vehicle can pull up directly to Paul's back window, and we will show proof of this. Paul was completely unaccounted for from 2 a.m. to 6 p.m. the following night when he went to the movies with some friends. One of those friends will testify that he saw a bruise under Paul's right eye that Sunday. Paul knew he had 3 full days alone in that dorm room, as his roommate was out of town from Friday till Tuesday. Reuben was 55 at the time of Kristen's disappearance, and Paul was 19. And the prosecutor made sure that the jury was aware of the frail 81-year-old sitting in the gallery, and Paul, who looked frail and gaunt at the defense table, were not the two men who perpetrated this crime. However, they were the people that he presented on the screen in the courtroom, which was their driver's license. Paul said that Kristen walked uphill to her dorm when he left her. And there will be testimony through eyewitnesses that that was impossible because Kristen could not stand on her own. So there was a lot more that transpired in the trial in the last couple of weeks. They had a lot of delays. They had almost an entire week of a delay because one of the jurors had an family emergency, and somebody else got sick. So it's not really been a really productive couple of weeks in the trial. I look for this week for them to really start getting a lot of witnesses and a lot of testimony. But all I can say is that I am thrilled. I have followed Kristen's case since when she went missing, and I have wanted that family to find some sort of peace and to be able to bring their daughter home. So, excuse me, that is my hope. That's what we will eventually get out of this case. The Flores have been very tight-lipped. Paul's mother, his sister, his mother's boyfriend, his sister's husband are all people that had little bits and pieces and parts of this case. They were all covering for each other. It's hard to believe that would happen. But if you remember when Doug Carter was talking about the Delphi case, how he said, "What will your family think? Family and friends think?" Well, this family in this case, they knew, and they were helping him and protecting him. So you can see We all have asked it. How would somebody remain quiet knowing that a family member committed such a horrific act? Kristin's case is a perfect example of how family members will go to any length to protect their own. I like to think that not everybody would behave that way, but we never know, right? So, hey, Unsolved Crimes. How are you, Allie? Good to see you. I agree with you, Indian Paintbrush. I think that they are evil. Those people have no compassion at all for the things that they have done to the Smart family over all these years. Hi, Tamara. She'll be here. She's just running late, I think. So it's a really interesting case. If you guys have not followed it, please go check out your own backyard, because you will not be disappointed, especially if you like true crime podcasts. It's one of the best that I have ever listened to, ever. So let's move right along. Hold on a second. I am going to stop my screen share and get out of this. And then I'm going to open up this one. Hold on one second. Let's get some stuff up here, because I want to talk about Delphi. It's not working. Sorry, guys. Just when you think you got it, it decides it does not want to work. There it is. Like, where is my Delphi stuff? It all disappeared. I wanted to put this up here because this was a statement from Jerry Holman early on in the case, and I wanted you guys to see it. Why is it not sharing? That's weird. Share my screen. Thought it was supposed to be automatic. There it is. So anyway, he says that's a great question, because he got a question from the media on whether or not they actually have DNA. Thank you, Miss Thang. You are so kind. And so anyway, hi, Pigeon Mac. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. He said, that's a great question. We will not deny nor confirm whether or not we have DNA. But I think that the public realizes that with a crime like this, very, very rarely do we not come up with DNA. But without going into great detail, I will tell you this. We have utilized every resource available, and if the evidence is there, we will reach out to the DNA people that what is the word you used? So I think what is important here is that they're not going to deny nor confirm whether or not they have DNA. And that's been ongoing for a really long time. Those are my grandbabies. Those are my grandbabies. Okay, so I was going to put up another. Sorry, guys. My computer is being weird tonight, and I don't know why. It's why I'm saving for a new one. I've got so much saved on my computer. It's crazy. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was going to look for. I'm going to put this up, I think. We will put this one up. It's probably going to be blurry, but anyway, it's better than not. Okay, so, hey, Mary, how are you? So good to have you. Thank you for your email today. I appreciate it. So here's the guy, right? This is Bridge Guy. This is the guy that we all wish we knew who that was. We all wish we could tell who that is in that face right there, that we can almost make out his nose and his mouth. And, you know, we tend to believe that he's wearing a hat, and it's just crazy, right? Just crazy. Well, I did, oh, crud. Hold on, guys. I am so sorry. I do not want them up there. I am so sorry. Because what I'm looking for, I closed. Here it is. Now I found it. So, this is what I want to show everybody. Now we'll try this again. I'm so glad you guys are patient with me. I really am. I appreciate you so much. So this is a story from CBS 4 out of Indianapolis, and it's from March 25th of 2022. And I ran across this just over the weekend. And I had never seen this before. And I thought it was important that we go over this. So, a former FBI agent urges patience despite the revelations in the Delphi transcripts. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, just make it flash. That's what I wanted to do. Former FBI agent. Bring you over here. Right here. It's like, you know, I have 2 monitors, and that's really, I used to have 3. And one of my grandson's monitor took a dive. So I gave up one of my monitors to him for school during the pandemic. So when he was doing school from home. So the 3 monitors were exceptionally wonderful because I could put everything I needed up on the screen. It was great when I was actually working, which, you know, being retired now, I don't have to do any of that anymore. It's kind of nice. So stop sharing my screen. No. Hold on a second. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but so a former FBI agent said investigators looking into the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German are likely taking their time to make sure that they have everything right before making an arrest. Transcripts that were obtained by CBS 4 have revealed that those investigators have their eyes on Tony Klein, the father of Kegan Klein, who is facing numerous charges in a child pornography case. Court filings show Kegan used a social media account by the name of Anthony_Shots to solicit images of underage girls. The transcripts reveal that the account was messaging with Libby German, including on the days the girls were murdered. In the transcript, a trooper confronts Kegan Klein saying that Anthony Shots was supposed to meet Libby on the Delphi High Bridge the day she was killed. That transcript also reveals that the investigators believe two people were using the account. In an interview with HLN, Kegan said his father had access to the Anthony_Shots account. And Klein also told HLN that Indiana State Police reportedly told him they knew it was my dad that killed Abby and Libby. I think they are taking their time because they don't want any mistakes, former FBI agent Kathy Geider said. Geider served as an FBI agent for more than 20 years. She said despite the fact that many signs are pointing to Kegan's father, investigators have to make sure that they have no holes in their case. I think they're taking their time because they don't want any mistakes, Geider said. They're going to make sure that all their ducks are in a row. CBS 4 went to the home where Tony Klein lives in Peru, and Kegan was also staying at the home with his father in 2017. The home was raided 12 days after the girls were murdered as part of a child pornography investigation. Nobody answered the door, and neighbors said they were shocked to hear that he was on the radar of the Delphi investigators. I am literally shocked and sick to my stomach right now. I literally am sick, Callista Shots said. During that raid of the Klein home, multiple devices were seized. Geider, the former FBI agent, said the amount of electronics and social media involved in this investigation could slow down investigators tremendously. Social media sites are going to require subpoenas, and you're going to have to be very specific on the dates and the times, the usernames, the type of content that you're looking for. Geider explained if there is a shared computer in a house or a laptop that's shared, you've got to be able to say with certainty that the person used it this date and that we know this because of A, B, and C. Neither Kegan nor his father, Tony, have been charged in the Delphi murders. Geider said people need to remain patient and that she hopes that investigators are starting to close in. I have no doubt state police, FBI, county sheriff's department, they are all still working, and they are working hard. It just takes time, Geider said. You do not want them to rush this type of case. You do not want anything to go wrong. The Indiana State Police issued a statement to CBS 4 stating they want to make it clear that they did not release this information. The Indiana State Police issued a statement to CBS4. They want to make it clear they did not release this information. And that's the information obtained by the murder sheet. This is an ongoing investigation, and out of respect for that, the Indiana State Police declines to comment at this time. Indiana State Police investigators continue to seek additional tips and urge citizens to call the Indiana State Police if they have information on this case or any other case. Now, I will say about all of this, this is not new to any of us. We have talked here for a long time about patience and due diligence on the part of the investigators who are investigating this case and putting together something that will be able to hold up in a court of law against whoever participated in the murders of Abby and Libby. But it never fails. We have lots and lots of people out there who think that this case should have been solved long ago. We have people who think they know better than law enforcement. We have people who think that they could figure this out if they just had more information. And we all would like to have more. We all would like to know more. But it's not our place. We're not investigators. We are not going to solve this case. I firmly believe this case is not going to be solved on the internet. It's too complex. There is so much and so many layers to this case. It's not going to happen. So I just want everybody to just take what I said and what the FBI investigator said. She was an FBI agent for over 20 years. She obviously knows what she's talking about. She's obviously seen a lot of cases, and they take time. And these digital cases in the digital age, where you have to go to all of these different platforms and request documentation, I did it on purpose. You have to understand that takes time. So it's very possible that we're getting close. Part of my gut feels that we are. And, we're all human. So when we get this silence where we're not hearing much, it's real easy to start letting doubt seep in and take over what we think we know and turn us the opposite direction and make us change what we feel we believe. And I just think that we need to sit back and be more patient and let them do their jobs. Listen to the seasoned investigators, Cop Facts. Perry Freeman has told us how complicated and complex this case is. And he has a wealth of information and knowledge in murder and investigations, as we all know. Steve from True Crime Web, you need to listen to him. He is also a retired detective. These people know what they're talking about. And they just don't get enough respect, in my opinion. And this day and age that we have all of the bad press and publicity towards our police force out there, yeah, there are bad cops, but there's bad anybody in any profession. I mean, that's the truth. But I guarantee you that the investigators that are investigating Abby and Libby's case, those guys want this case solved. Because what they saw that day in those woods with those girls has so disturbed them that there's somebody in that community where they live and work and go to church and play sports with their kids is there doing these horrible, horrific things. They want him caught. And so I just, I know that there's been a lot. I mean, I'm sitting here last night doing some research for the Flora case, and all of a sudden I get a text message that Tony Klein has been arrested. I almost fell off my chair. I was like, what? And so, I mean, there is rumors flying all over and around this case. I made phone calls today to Miami County. I called Howard County just to be safe. And I also called Carroll County, which I didn't expect to find anything there, but I did call all three counties, and there is no Jerry Anthony Klein in jail at this point in time. Now, I was told that depending on the situation, that they may not have him booked yet. Now, I just thought that was weird because I've never heard of that. And so I asked my best friend's husband, who's a judge, how that works. And he said they have to book them within a certain amount of time. And he's not a judge in Indiana, so he's not familiar with Indiana law, but it is a constitutional right. It's not just a state right. So they do have to book them in a reasonable amount of time. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is not true. I have no idea why anybody would put that out, and definitely put that out without any solid verification or knowledge that they can attest to it. Those are things that are salacious in my opinion, and that can hurt the case. They desperately hurt the family. Can you imagine being the family and hearing something like that? You so badly want this case solved, and then to hear somebody say that somebody's been arrested. I don't know. David, that doesn't surprise me. I have a lot of questions about that county, as well as Carroll County. I do. But at this point in time, when there's nothing on my case, I can't find anything except the fact that last year he was arrested. Hold on a second, because I still have it up. Yeah. Last year he was arrested for failure to use his safety belt. And that was in June of 2021. So that is the last infraction that's listed on my case. So I just, like I said, I just think it's not doing any good to anybody for people to put this kind of stuff out. So please, if you guys see stuff like that, please make sure you verify it before you pass it on or get excited about it, because it's so scary. It really upset me. I was really upset last night after that all happened, because I wanted so badly, not necessarily for it to be true, but for us to be going in a direction where law enforcement was starting to unravel what's gone on with Abby and Libby. I do believe that it's coming exactly tomorrow. Only the facts. I'm Joe Friday. Oh, just the facts, ma'am. If you guys don't remember, that's Dragnet. It was on in the 60s. And I think they made a movie about it, maybe 10 years ago or so. I don't remember now. But anyway, it's just important to make sure that we're verifying facts before we start spreading them all around on social media, because all it does is get everybody up in an uproar, and it's not doing these cases any good. So I will say that. So let's move on. There's something that I wanted to talk about. Oh, I know what I forgot to tell you guys. I'm excited about it. One of the things that I'm going to be doing on my channel, every live stream that I do, I'm going to have a drawing, and I am going to have giveaways of things. Now, one of the things that I'm going to give away is I'm going to give a winner when I do my drawing. I'm going to pick what it is, but some of the things will be like, you'll have access to my private Facebook group where you can go and chat about the cases that we cover. I may give you access to my Discord, my private Discord, where you can go and chat and talk with others about the cases that we cover. I may give you a private question and answer with me, if that's what you would like, where you can question me on things. But I'm also going to be giving away Abby and Libby bracelets. They're these bracelets right here that I have on. And I was given or sent a whole bag of these. So I have a lot of them. And dog toys. You want me to get some dog toys, Frank? I can go to the dollar store and get some dog toys. Not a problem. But I'm a Lamborghini. You know, Savannah, I thought about, somebody else was asking about giving away a brand new car. And I thought maybe I would get the little Matchbox cars and I could give those away. I want to make it fun. You know what? We cover such really dark topics, and I just really want to bring some fun to what we do on the channel. And so and you know what's so fun about this is that I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but my little boy collected Matchbox cars. And so it was a huge thing. He loved them. So we carried on after we lost him. At Christmas time, everyone gets a Matchbox car from him. It's a big deal. They always come in a basket, and they're always set outside the house on the porch. And, you know, we have to go out and get them. And everybody gets their personal Matchbox car from him. So Matchbox cars are kind of cool. And if you like really cool cars or whatever, you know, you can find some really neat ones and stuff. So yeah, I thought that might be fun. I could see about doing that. But So this is how it works. StreamYard is the streaming software that I use to stream with you guys, and they have a giveaway tool. So all I have to have you guys to do is I'm going to give you something. I'll give you a text that I want you to put in to the comments. Okay. And we're going to do that right now. So what I want everybody to do is to hashtag the doors is what we're going to use tonight. So everybody hashtag the doors that wants to be entered in my drawing. And as you guys do that, then my tool is going to start counting the entries. And so make sure you use the hashtag, Mary. And so yeah, it's starting to get you guys' entries. So as the entries come in, I'm going to give it a while because we've got quite a few people in here. And then I will draw. And then we will have our winner. And so if I get to talking and I forget about it, please make sure you guys remind me so that I make sure that I do it right. Make sure you guys do hashtag the and then a space and doors. Don't put it all together. Run it all together. Hey, Sharon Parker, how are you? Hey, Double Rainbows. Welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a member of my channel. That makes me happy. Thank you so much. Sharon, it's the doors, my dear. You want to fix that. I want to make sure you get in the drawing. So make sure you guys fix that. I'm good tonight. Thank you. Hey, Daisy, I didn't see you drop in, hun. Thank you. Hi, Kim Young. Good to have you. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing then on the live stream. So when you do win, you'll have to email me your information and how I can mail it to you. And I will get that sent out to you. Whatever it is that you win, that I have to mail to you. If when we do the drawing, if we're giving away like the ability to be in my Facebook group or the ability to be in Discord or whatever, of course, you just email me and I'll send you the invite for those. Kim, thank you so much. That's so kind of you to hear. I'm glad that you love my channel. I'm working really hard to make it a good platform. And it's always nice to hear that. And I'm telling you, all these wonderful people that are in my chat tonight, they're the ones who help make this the great channel that it is, because they really keep me on my toes. They're kind, they're considerate to each other. They always bring great comments and commentary. So it's kind of fun. And then we have our crazy girl in the house, which is Jennifer, who always is trying to make us laugh. We love her so much. And so Jennifer Rochelle, she should take a bow because she's always trying to make us laugh. And for those of you who are not aware, Jennifer just dropped in the chat under Nightbot the address where you can go buy me a coffee. I am signed up there now. So you guys, if you want to buy me a coffee, I don't drink coffee, I drink tea, but that's wonderful. I would appreciate that anytime. So you can go there and you can support me in that way. So anyway, you guys are great. Yes, Jennifer is an amazing lady. Allie, she certainly is. Meow, how are you? I'm going to start talking about something you posted. So I saw you were in here, my dear. How are you this evening? So right now I have 23 entries and I've got 80 people watching. So is there anybody else that wants to be in the drawing? Please make sure you put hashtag the space doors. Yes, Savannah, if you would, I would definitely do that. If you could please email me the information on Kaylee Jones, I will certainly put it out on my Twitter and also on my channel community page. Just email me the information, please. And yes, I have some of the absolute best mods that anyone could ask for. And I love them all very much. Hi, JDR. So we're going to get into this. Hold on one second. I'm going to pull this out, this down. It's just another day in the office trying to make everything fit on my screen that I need to fit. It is not easy sometimes. So I'm going to share something that was posted by Meow Zedong on the Reddit sub of the Flora Fire. And I know, John, I noticed that we have a lot of new people tonight, and I'm thrilled about that. It makes me happy. We're going to talk about something that a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable about. I like that too, Jennifer. It does make the quiet ones have to speak up. We're going to talk about Indiana's dark history of racial intolerance for a bit. Because Paris, it's not the space doors, my dear. It's just the doors. You just want to do hashtag the, and then you want to do a space in between the words doors. So I'm going to read what she posted because I just think it's fantastic information that everyone needs to know. If you're not from Indiana, you may not know. And if you are from Indiana, I know you don't know. Indiana has been recognized as one of the most violent Klan organizations in the nation. And the single most significant examples of political corruption by the Klan in the United States history. Many Klansmen rising to power in Indiana legislature, locally and federally. The FBI file on the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan demonstrates how the Indiana chapter from the mid-1970s through the 1980s splintered from the National Klan organization due to the fact that Indiana Klan leaders, such as Stevenson's, outspoken calls for racial violence. At the time, the Klan was seeking public support to distance themselves from their violent roots. And David Duke from Illinois and the Illinois chapter replacing Indiana Klan leaders as a more moderate and gentle representation of the Klan's racist message. And notably, Kokomo, Indiana was one of the most powerful Klan groups throughout the 1900s. And the movement can still be seen today, with local news stations in Indiana reporting Klan recruitment flyers in Kokomo, West Lafayette, and numerous towns in Indiana in 2020. The resurgence of these groups can be seen during periods of political tension and racial reform. Thank you, Candace. Thank you so much for your super sticker, or your super chat. Sorry, your super chat. Much appreciated. There's an estimated 100,000 Klansmen. Hold on, I'm going here. There was a celebration in Kokomo on July 4th, 1923, where 100,000 Klansmen celebrated in Kokomo. And I don't think people are aware of this. Indiana and the Klan were defending against threats that they've deemed to their God and to their country. Threats like Roman Catholics, the foreign-born, Jews, blacks, and the old white cap enemies, the immoral, such as adulterers, gamblers, and drinkers. And nowadays, it's the LGBTQ community, as well as many other groups that they deem as threats. Your average white Protestant male was pretty ripe to be sold on the movement. The message that they get from several history books is that the electorate was pretty simply exhausted by the social change of the past decades. Advances in technology, immigration, the progressive movement, and very significantly World War I had changed the social landscape dramatically. And the folks on the top of the heap at the beginning of that process, even people who are generally pleasant and do not harbor great stores of ill will towards others, will tend to tire of the change first, since it's not necessarily bringing them any individual benefits. In the 1920s, the Ku Klux Klan grew like wildfire, starting from essentially nothing, and by 1925, including something like 30% of native-born white men. On July 4th, 1923, the Indiana Klan held a rally in Kokomo at which D.C. Stevenson was inducted as the Grand Dragon. And the rally is considered the largest in the nation's history, and it was attended by something like 100,000 Klansmen and their families. Doug Linder describes some of the events as follows. That night, Stevenson, in his newly won golden orange robe and hood, enjoyed the conclusion of the conclave in Kokomo. A Klan parade with robed high Klan officials on horseback and a dozen floats wound its way through town. Onward Christian soldiers blared from a 40-piece marching band. When the parade was over, the crowd moved to Foster Park and sung hymns such as the Old Rugged Cross around a 60-foot-high fiery cross. Fireworks streaked through the nighttime sky. Stevenson soaked it all in. He thought, soon destined to be the most powerful man in Indiana. Nope. It wouldn't be long before Stevenson fell hard and took the Klan with him. He kidnapped and raped a woman, leading to her death. But on that night, he and the clan were on top. What brought them there was a change, weary, aggrieved, native-born, white male Protestant population. It was a minority of that demographic, but a substantial one, coupled with a majority that did not push back hard enough against them. The public statements were often framed in a way that allowed them to plausibly deny the hateful subtext, perhaps even to themselves. Linder once again. In fact, Stevenson's speech that day, entitled Back to the Constitution, he denounced political corruption, American imperialism abroad, and called for an end to deficit spending. He ended his hour-long, enthusiastically received talk with the cry, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." All in all, there was scarcely a phrase in the speech that would embarrass a majority party candidate today. There were better places than a huge rally attended by media from several states to deliver the KKK's anti-Catholic, anti-Black, and anti-Jewish message. So that's pretty interesting. There's a new brand of racist groups in Indiana. So they finally removed, and this is from February 22nd of 2018. Kokomo removed from the SPLC hate map, but racist groups grow in Indiana. And this is from the Kokomo Tribune. And it shows a picture of KKK symbols spray painted on people's property, residents' homes. And this was done only weeks before the 2016 election. And there was a lot of homes that were vandalized. 1 year after being identified as a home to a hate group, Kokomo was removed from the Southern Poverty Law Center's hate map in a report released Wednesday. The SPLC's Year in Hate and Extremism report identified an increase in hate groups in Indiana and the U.S. from 2016 to 2017, a fact the organization attributes in a large part to the president, but eliminates Kokomo in its group of Indiana cities infiltrated by hate groups. In its 2016 report, the SPLC, a civil rights group that promotes tolerance, said that the Ku Klux Knights of the Ku Klux Klan were operating in Kokomo. Operations can include activities such as criminal acts, marches, rallies, speeches, meetings, leafleting, or publishing. And while the Ku Klux Knights are included as one of Indiana's statewide racist groups in the 2017 based report, Kokomo is not singled out as being home to a main faction of the organization. The Southern Poverty Law Center removed the Kokomo, Indiana chapter of the Ku Klux Knights of the Ku Klux Klan because we did not document any activity from this chapter during the 2017 calendar year. Heidi Barrick, director of the SPLC's Intelligence Project, said in an email, despite Kokomo's removal from this report, the city was associated in 2017 with at least one SPLC-defined hate group. An anti-Islam program in October at Solid Rock Ministries in Kokomo featured speaker Usama Dakdok and his message that Islam is quickly infiltrating the West, according to the website of Dakdok's ministry. The Southern Poverty Law Center lists Dakdok's the Straight Way of Grace Ministry of Venice, Florida, as a hate group. At the meeting, Taylor Township board member Bob Marley, who in an interview called Islam an evil religion and criticized Democrats for supporting homosexuals, was caught on video in a physical altercation with a protester during the event, advertising as unveiling the truth on Islam. Notably, the SPLC highlighted 30 hate groups in Indiana in 2017, up from 26 identified in 2016. Existing groups are defined as general hate, white nationalists, racist skinheads, neo-Volkish, focused on white European survival, the Ku Klux Klan, and anti-Muslim, black nationalist, radical, traditional Catholicism, and anti-LGBTQ. Indiana cities cited in the report include Auburn, Connorsville, Evansville, Indianapolis, Lafayette, Paoli, South Bend, and Terre Haute. 17 organizations are listed as statewide. Overall, the SPLC identified 954 hate groups in the United States, which is an increase of 4% from 2016. The SPLC defines a hate group as an organization whose beliefs or practices attack or malign an entire class of people, typically for their immutable characteristics. The rise in hate groups, says the SPLC report, was also driven in part by a backlash from the Nation of Islam and other fringe black nationalist groups that saw our previous president as an avatar of the rising white supremacist movement, a powerful reassertion of the same centuries-old racism that has always fueled their desire to break away from white America. The organization says those organizations should not be confused with activist groups such as Black Lives Matter. In total, black nationalist hate groups, which usually oppose integration and racial intermarriage and want separate institutions for blacks, expanded in 2017 to 233 chapters, up from 193 the previous year. The Ku Klux Klan groups, however, dropped from 130 to 72, and that is attributed, the SPLC, to younger white supremacists rejecting the Klan's hoods and robes for the hipper image of the more loosely organized alt-right movement. So, yeah, Indiana's history of having hate groups and the Klan is there. It's not something that Indiana can deny or hide from. And the last known lynching in America happened in Indiana. And it happened in 1930. And there was a woman who did try to prevent it. It's just hard to imagine people behaving this way. It's hard for me to understand why someone hates in that regard. I just don't understand. I don't think I ever will. It happened in, hang on a second. It happened in Marion, Indiana in 1930. On August 7th, black teenagers Tom Shipp, Abe Smith, and James Cameron were held in the Marion jail for the murder of Claude Dieter and rape of Mary Ball. Before they could stand trial, a mob comprised of white residents tore the young men from their cells, brutally beat them, mutilating and hanging them from a tree on the courthouse lawn. They intended to send a message to other African American residents on which Marion NAACP leader Catherine Flossie Bailey scrambled to prevent. Local photographer Lawrence Beitler took a photograph of the swinging bodies, capturing a white crowd that looked on in a mixture of satisfaction, hostility, amusement, and bewilderment. This photo was reproduced on postcards and circulated by the thousands. NPR noted that in the late 1930s, white poet, activist, and Bronx school teacher Abel Meeropol remained haunted by the image of strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees and penned a poem about the lynching, published by the Teachers Union. Inspired by Meeropol's words, artists like Billie Holiday, Diana Ross, Sting, Kanye West, and Nina Simone have all performed their own versions of Strange Fruit. And historian Dr. James Madison contends that the Marion lynching continues to command attention because it took place outside of the Deep South and occurred after the Ku Klux Klan prompted lynchings of the 1920s. The East Tennessee News noted weeks after the lynching that the deplorable affair confirms the notion that mob law can break forth in all its fury in the North as readily as it does in the South. And the paper added that only the enactment of a federal law would serve to discourage the tendency of irresponsible hoodlums who are inclined to take the law into their own hands. Prior to August 7, 1930, it is believed that the last lynching in Indiana took place in 1902 in Sullivan County, and the resurgence sent shockwaves through Indiana and around the nation. As white residents gathered on the afternoon of the 7th, formidable NAACP state president Flossie Bailey mobilized. She was born in Kokomo. Bailey was described as a hot rod-born leader and superb organizer for her tireless work with the NAACP. She established the Marion branch in 1918 and built it up, despite encountering apathy created by the Great Depression and its conditions. She became head of the Indiana NAACP and offered her house as headquarters when Marion's Spencer Hotel refused to accommodate Black guests. As the restless crowd hoisted Claude Dieter's blood-stained shirt from the window of the Marion County City Building, Bailey called Sheriff Jacob Campbell to alert him to the mob's plan to lynch the prisoners. According to NAACP Acting Secretary Walter White, upon Bailey's phone call, Sheriff Campbell checked the jail's garage and found that gasoline had been removed from the cars and the tires had all been flattened, preventing transportation of the endangered prisoners. He made no attempt to procure working cars, despite 3 hours passing until the lynching occurred. Bailey also called on Governor Harry G. Leslie's secretary, operating in his absence, to dispatch troops to the restless city. He abruptly hung up on her. As Bailey tried to intervene, Mary Ball's father, Hoot Ball, entered the jail to speak with Sheriff Campbell, and upon failing, the crowd broke into violence and stormed the jail. The Muncie Evening Press estimated that of the thousands gathered around the jail, only about 75 men actually took part in the rioting. Encouraged by the shouts of onlookers, the mob penetrated the front and side of the jail using crowbars and hammers. Officials inside tried to stop rioters with tear bombs, one of which was lobbed back into the jail and exploded among nearly 50 prisoners. Walter White declared the lynching of Shipp and Smith to be the most horrible and brutal in the whole history of lynching. He stated that Smith was taken first and lynched from the jail bars, and when first pulled up, he held on to the rope, preventing strangulation. And he fought furiously for his life, burying his teeth in the arm of one of the lynchers. In order to make him loosen his teeth, his skull was crushed in with a crowbar and a knife was plunged into his heart. The rancorous mass took Smith's life by dragging him to the courthouse square and hung him from a tree before a crowd that included children, an act witnessed and recounted by Muncie podiatrist Dr. E. Frank Turner. He saw the ghastly spectacle around 8 p.m. and hearing the water would be used to disperse the crowd, felt that everything would be all right, and went away. And when he returned around 10 o'clock, he saw the mob drag Shipp and Smith to the courthouse lawn. Lynchers utilized shadows created by tree branches to obscure their identities. Not all observers cheered. He recalled some wept and others were condemning the crowd. So I guess all in all, we all probably, all of our country has history of racism at some point. And it brings tears to my eyes that, just as Lipsha said, the fact that we can't talk about bigotry and the problem with racism, there's no way we can heal it, because it's the only way to heal it is to be able to own up to it and talk about it. It is a very touchy subject. And one of the things that there's no doubt in my mind that racism is learned. It's not often learned, it is learned. Children, if you've ever been around them, have no idea what color is. My little grandson, when he came home from school for the first time in kindergarten, he'd never been around a black child or a person that we were aware of at that age. He was when he went to school. And he came home and said he'd made the best friend ever and that he was chocolate. Now, that's innocence right there. You know, I mean, kids do not know how to be racist. They don't see that. They're loving, they're caring, and they're compassionate. And we teach them all of those things. It is taught, absolutely taught. And it is the truth. People think that if we don't talk about it and we pretend it's not happening and close our eyes to it, it'll just go away, because after all, it doesn't affect us. The only reason that it's being brought up is because of the history in this area. And Mao Zedong was right by doing this and bringing it up, because we just told you of the history in Indiana and how deeply in bed the racist ideal is in that. As today, it was going on in 2016 and 2017 and 2018. And I guarantee you it's not gone away. These are not things that just go away overnight. It's embedded there. And it's something that you have to look at when you see 4 little Black children killed in an arson fire. It's something that has to be addressed. No one wants to talk about it. Even though they lived in a city that was 99% white, they don't want to talk about the fact that that could be a reason for it. So that was just one of the things that I wanted to mention. And Mao Zedong's right. The Klan loves fire. They love fires. They burn the cross, for God's sake. I can't even imagine. I don't understand that. And so I wanted to say it. I wanted to bring it up. I knew that it could possibly cost me in doing that, but I felt to myself, we have to talk about the history. I'm not finger pointing. I'm not saying that every person that lives in Indiana is racist. Certainly not. I'm not saying that that the girls lost their lives due to racism. I'm saying it's a possibility that we have to address. Just like when we look at all of these fires and nobody wants to pay attention to what the numbers are telling us. And when we talk about Stephanie Thompson, I want to pull up her picture because just give me a second to do that. Stephanie and Maya were, why do I have them? Give me a minute, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to do it a different way. When we talk about Stephanie Thompson and why did that come up? And what happened to her in the Monticello fire? When I started covering that, I got a lot of people talking about talking to me about, well, we don't know that it was arson yet. We don't. But I guarantee you that that's what it's leaning to. The ATF has been brought in on this case, and they don't get brought in unless it's going to be something like arson. Here it comes. Sorry. This is what I wanted. No. All I'm trying to do is pull a picture of her up, and I had them saved, and now I can't. It's not opening, and it's being a pain. So give me a minute. I'm going to pull up this page because it's not cooperating with me. I hate it when it doesn't cooperate with me. Okay, there we go. Now you can look at a lot of things while I talk about this. What's going on in the chat, you guys? What's happening over here? Jennifer, who is using racist words? Yeah, double rainbows. I will get that to you. If you go to Meow Zedong's Reddit sub, for Flora 4, you can find it there. You can find the article there. I'm taking a moment here to figure out what the heck's going on in the what is going on in this chat. If anybody in here is being rude to the mods, you can leave. If anybody in here thinks that they should be using racial slurs of any kind, you will be banned from my channel. Okay, I just want to make sure, and nobody should be being rude to Jennifer. Anybody that's rude to any of my moderators is not welcome here. And we don't use any kind of racial slurs. I don't care in what context. So I don't think I have to say much more, okay? You guys should know me by now and know me well enough to know that I won't put up with any of that. Everyone is welcome. I just don't condone that kind of language, that kind of speak, or those kinds of beliefs if people believe that way. So, that's how I feel. So getting back to Stephanie, I always know when you bring up anything political, that's why I don't like it brought up in my channel. And it's hard to talk about racism without people wanting to politicize it. It's not political. It's a social problem that we have in our country, and it needs to be addressed. And people need to stop hiding behind their white privilege, because that's what happens. And then we can't even discuss it. It just makes me angry. So let's move on. I just feel like Stephanie Thompson, her case is going to be key in a lot of what's happening around Flora, especially Flora. One of the things that we have to remember is that when a polygrapher polygraphs someone and takes that information, they have to go to court. When that person, if that person is a suspect, which she told us that in the roadshow, in the state police roadshow she was on, that that the police don't bring people to them to polygraph unless they really truly believe that this is a viable suspect that they want polygraphed. With that knowledge, she would have had to have gone to court when and if that person is arrested for the crime that they are being charged with and what they were absolutely polygraphed for. So in other words, whoever gets convicted or whoever gets charged with the Flora arson would have been polygraphed, most likely already, by Stephanie. She had done a number of them. She would have had to have gone to court and testified to her findings. That's one of the things the polygrapher has to do. They have to go to the court, testify about what they found, what their observations were. Nobody else can do that for them. They have to be the ones to do that. And so it really bothers me to think that this woman lost her life in what's possibly an arson fire, and it makes it very suspicious when you realize this about what she was doing in this case and what her duties were. And then you have Nate Miller, the police officer who commits suicide while on duty in Delphi. And what's funny about that whole scenario, or not funny, pardon me for saying that, how do I want to phrase it? peculiar about all of that is that he too was a Monticello police officer for years. And I'm assuming with all those years behind him that he would have known Stephanie, because Stephanie and her husband are well known in that community because of their positions. She was an Indiana state trooper. Her husband is a district court judge. I'm sorry, a circuit court judge. I apologize. And so people are going to know them. They're going to know them around town. John, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. And yes, thank you, Jennifer, for everything that you do for me in this channel and chat and behind the scenes. Yeah, Savannah, I've heard this as well. I ran across something about this last week, and I don't really want to speak out about that, because all I want to say on that subject right now is that's someone's personal mental health, and I really want to be careful when we start talking about the mental health of any individual, whether they are a part of this case or not, because there's a lot of things that go into that, and I certainly do not want to be naming or dragging anyone under the bus that may be suffering from mental health issues. Hey, Perry, how are you? Always so good to see you. Talked about you earlier. I hope you're doing well. I know you were traveling a bit. I hope that you are settled in back home and just enjoying your Tuesday night. And yes, Digital, you are correct. That is correct. Nate Miller has been linked to being a rumored alibi for a witness or for somebody in the Delphi case. I don't know if that's true because it's a rumor. So, but all I know is that this is a police officer who did commit suicide while on duty. And the fact that all of this stuff is happening around these cases makes everything a little suspect. Savannah, I am so very sorry to hear that, and my heart goes out to you. It is never easy to lose anyone, and especially to suicide. Hey, Jess Pam, thank you so much for your super chat. I got a date with you guys. Is that good enough? Hey there, Cop Facts. Kim Young says you remind her so much of Clint Eastwood. He is one handsome man, and he is so kind. So yeah, he is really, really kind. He's just got he's just got a way about him, you know. I just it's interesting. I like to see how everybody reacts to him, because he's the real deal. I can't say it enough. But getting back to Stephanie, I'm glad to see that the ATF has been called in and is working her case. I do believe that it was highly suspicious, the fire and how it happened, and the things that I've read about that they've released. Having the fact that the ATF is involved now really leads me to believe that it was arson. And if it was arson, we cannot just look away that it was not something that may have been related to her work in the Flora case, because I'm guaranteed, you guys, there are people out there that don't want Flora solved. It was determined arson, and there's people out there who do not want that case solved. I did, Pam, just for you guys. And there's always a chance that this was not related to her. It could have been related to her husband, the fact that he was a judge. But I'm saying no. I'm sorry. I'm going to go out there on that edge and that limb because of her work on Flora. So that was pretty much the things that I wanted to talk about. I know that we've got some other things that Unsolved Crime and Meow Zedong and I are working on. And I know we're going to be back together with you guys again, the three of us. I'm just not sure when that's going to happen, but we will be back. It seems like everyone really likes when the three of us are together and covering this case. So we are going to make a point of that. I can't say enough about those two women. If one of the mods can drop Unsolved Crimes channel in the chat, please, as well as Meow Zedong, I so would appreciate it. Kim, thank you so much for your donation. That was so kind of you. I appreciate it so much. Yes, David, I've said it before. You are very correct. I have said for a long time that I believe that there are people that do not want Delphi solved. And I believe that that's one of the reasons that you have all this muck on social media. All these bizarre theories and crazy stories about witnesses and what they saw and what they didn't see. And I believe all of that. I believe that some of that narrative is put out there by people who don't want the case solved. So I think one of the things that you have to look at is this is such a small community area. And I don't think a lot of people that are not from the Midwest understand how it looks. But a lot of these people knew each other. A lot of these people are aware of one another for numbers of different reasons, but they're small communities. And thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for dropping those for me. Yes, please go subscribe and like their channels. They're putting out amazing content. And there's just so much. And I don't know, Savannah. It's interesting to see. Oh, yeah, Pam, sorry. The contest. Hold on. Let me go see what's going on with my giveaway. So I only have 25 entries. So I'm going to stop my screen share. The only reason I do that, you guys, is because I don't know everybody that put their entry in. And I have to make sure that there's no offensive, any offensive of your pictures that show up, because if there would be, that's grounds for them to take down my channel. And I even StreamYard suggests that we don't draw live on screen, even though it's so exciting to watch. I took a week-long class on StreamYard and training, and they did it with us every single day, and it was so cool. But because we don't know, there's lots of people out there that like to use those really untasteful photos. And I won't know until the draw comes up. So I'll share it with you once the draw comes up so you can see it. So everybody who wants to be in the drawing, please enter hashtag the doors and make sure there's a space in between the doors. I'll give you one more minute and then we're going to draw. Good. We're getting some more people that want to play. That's awesome. I love it. Hey, Betty. Okay, guys, here it goes. Yay! And we have our winner. Hold on a second. Let me share my screen. Sharon Parker. Sharon Parker, congratulations. So excited for you. So just make sure you email me your information and I'll get your Abby and Libby bracelet sent right out to you. So that's how it happens. That's how it works, guys. And I'm excited about that. What a way to end the night, right? End it on a good note. No, Jack, no car. Not tonight anyway. No new car. Hey, Pigeon Mac. I thank everybody that's sharing or that's actually sharing and talking about Flora. Flora is really starting to get some traction of people sharing the story and talking about the case. And that really makes me excited to see that. If you guys need my email address, it was just dropped in the chat by Jennifer and Nightbot. So just email me there. And it just makes me happy. Meow Zedong is doing a tremendous job trying desperately to get eyes on this case. We all are. We are reaching out to everyone we can think about to try to get them to relook at some things and some new information, and especially unsolved statistics, because the data doesn't lie. The data does not lie. And I want you guys to know I still haven't heard from Jim Irsay, but I did send him a tweet today, another one, and asked him if he would please consider donating to the Flora Reward Fund. So I'm not going to let up on that. I feel if he can give $100,000 to Delphi, he should be able to give $100,000 to Flora. And that's just how I feel. The man is very capable of having that amount of money to donate to those four sisters. So, well, guys, it's been a couple hours. I'm really tired, and it's been wonderful being with you all. I hope Sharon Parker is our very first winner on my giveaways, and I'm excited about that. No, Lisa, I've missed that. Where did that happen? What city did that happen in? Yeah, please make sure that you guys donate if you can to the Flora GoFundMe. I haven't even looked to see what that is. Meow, what's that up to? Do you know? I didn't look at that before I came on. I should have. But so what's the name of the missing girl again, please? I need to write it down. I got to find it in my chat. Yeah, that's a good thing to see. Kaylee Jones. Just give me a minute, guys. I want to write her name down so I can go look her up and share her information. All right. So, oh, there it is. Oh, no. In St. Charles? Oh, wow. Jennifer, have you heard about that? Oh, good. It's gone up then. I mean, it's better than nothing. At least it's going up unsolved. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Everybody, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. The doors are great. I love all of you. And we will see you guys again on Thursday night. And take care. And please, everyone, be safe out there and be kind to one another. Pay that kindness forward. Good night, everyone.